you talked about power relationships. Actually, we just heard it in a little bit in our setup. But I want to ask you about data feudalism and this idea that if information is power and absolute power corrupts absolutely, absolute information may be an amplifier thereof. So do you want to talk a little bit about how does this conversation sit within this larger set of issues?
Well, it's a great point. We love this term, data feudalism.
Lord Zuckerberg.
Exactly, Lord Zuckerberg. It's really interesting. We discovered that...
we're all tilling Farmville plots. Sorry.
Exactly.
Tenant farmers.
Basically, we realized we're living in an enormous social experiment right now. So what happened, just a couple of months ago is that AT&T and Verizon have both decided to start selling off their customer data sets. So that's your location, that's your browsing history, that's now available for sale. Your Fitbit is probably recording when you sleep and when you exercise. And then we have all of these technologies like Twitter and Facebook that give profound insights into what you're thinking and what you're doing. This is an enormous experiment, bringing all of this technology together. And a lot of that is being done in ways that we have no visibility into. It's completely opaque. So there's a serious power imbalance that's occurring, and that's particularly happening in terms of the collection of data sets. So in an experiment like this, what's so interesting is that it has no ethics process. It has no opt-out. We're actually going to live through this and try and figure it out as we go. That's sort of really profound social exercise that we're sharing in. So part of what we're thinking about is, okay, how do we protect vulnerable populations? How do we think about those dynamics and changes so that those power imbalances aren't so extreme as they are now? I'm pretty optimistic there are ways we can address that. Some of those solutions will be legal and social, some will be technical. But having that discussion, having these sorts of people together in a space to say, okay, how are we going to deal with this? And that's basically what I hope this document does. I mean, I've had some great conversations with people in this room from places like the New York Times R&D Lab, from people at a range of universities who are saying, yeah, we need to improve data science by thinking about people and thinking about ethics. So that's happening.
Let me come over to Claudia on that point about, as a data scientist, Claudia, I'm a few weeks ago, I found out that a big data broker called Axiom made it possible for you to dig in and actually find out what they knew about you. So I was terrified, being a man with a browser history, what they could possibly have known about me. And then I logged in and found out that the first thing they knew about me was that my name was Andrea. So in many ways, I actually don't envy your job as a data scientist, as superpowered a position as that is. That you have to. It seems like, we're living in this era of big data, and we're also living through this era of